Scheduling is an ongoing process of adding new jobs, removing completed jobs, adjusting scheduling directives, resequencing work orders in the scheduling queue, testing different overtime scenarios, etc., etc. This chapter provides insight on how to interpret what the scheduler is telling you, and, more importantly, how to redirect the scheduler so it generates more on-time scheduled finish dates. When scheduled finish date exceeds target finish date, or the scheduled finish date is now older than today's date, the job, job item, work order, or department is considered late and is colored red. Let's look at some techniques to get late tasks back on track. Something to keep in mind as you refine the scheduler is the scheduler schedules one work order at a time, calculating start and finish dates for each department the work order is routed through. Thus, when attempting to correct a late work order, job item, or job, you'll typically focus on either the work order or the department level. In our example, work order 340 is late. How late? Slack days tells us the work order is 5 days late. Essentially, scheduled finish date is 5 days beyond our requested target finish date. The first question to ask is if the slippage is caused by a lack of available resource. To answer this question, look at the departmental information under the work order. We can see that panel saw is 4 days late, and it is being delayed 2 days because of a resource shortage. Looking closer at the actual resource assignments for panel saw, we see that there is only one employee assigned, and it too shows the 2-day delay. The message log also reports the resource delay. If a work order is delayed because it is waiting for booked resources to become available, try moving it higher in the work order scheduling queue. The higher a work order is in the scheduling queue, the sooner it gets scheduled. And the sooner it gets scheduled, the less likely it will encounter resource delays. However, even if this corrects the work order that was previously late, it may cause problems for work orders that were on time. The reason for this is resources are limited. Work orders positioned higher in the scheduling queue have first shot at available resources. This definitely impacts work orders positioned lower in the scheduling queue. It becomes more and more likely that these lower priority work orders need to wait for resources to free up before they can be scheduled. In our example, let's move work order 340 up a few positions in the scheduling queue by typing 31 into its scheduled sequence cell and pressing Enter. Then rerun the scheduler. Moving the work order further up in the scheduling queue has indeed solved the resource delay. As you see in the lower right-hand Employee Assignments window, no more delays. However, the overall work order slack days still shows we're late, this time by 3 days. We could move the work order further up in the queue, but this could adversely affect other work orders. Instead, let's experiment with overtime and see if this remedies the situation. By looking at the employee's assignment for the edge banding department, we can see that we need to add 1 hour of overtime to hit our target finish date of July 20th. Let's schedule a half an hour of overtime for July 17th and 20th for Tony Edgewalker. Rerunning the scheduler with our overtime request indeed addresses the delay in edge banding, but work order 340 is still late by 3 days. We see hardware is still late by 3 days. There is one employee assigned to this task. It is tempting to schedule overtime for this employee so we can finish hardware by close of business July 24th. Instead of scheduling overtime, let's try something else. Notice that we've set our department resource assignment quantity to one employee when scheduling a hardware task that's less than or equal to 32 hours. That's why the scheduler assigned just one resource to our work order for the hardware task. Let's override the default setting and put 2 resources on hardware. This should cut the time in half and allow us to finish the task on July 24th. Rerunning the scheduler indeed made the work order's scheduled finish date match target finish date, making it on time. There are going to be times when a target finish date is impossible to meet. No matter how many resources you assign to the task, no matter where you place the work order in the scheduling queue, no matter how much overtime you request, the date can't be achieved. Before slipping the work order, make sure the work order's departmental estimates are not too high. If they are, reduce estimated hours and rerun the scheduler. Also, make sure there isn't an old "don't schedule before" date that has been mistakenly left on a work order. Removing this constraint could very well fix the problem. If you decide that the only solution is slipping the work order, change its target finish date so it equals or is greater than its scheduled finish date. Rerunning the scheduler shows the work order is now considered on time. Nailed work orders don't get rescheduled. Users nail work orders when they're satisfied with work order scheduled start and finish dates. To keep a nailed work order's scheduled start and finish dates intact, the scheduler reserves all employee assignments needed to complete the work order. In other words, the work order's employee assignments get nailed along with the work order. Nailing work orders is a great tool for iteratively building your next master production schedule. Since nailed work orders don't get rescheduled, each subsequent scheduling run considers fewer and fewer work orders until all of the work orders you need to schedule are either nailed or on time. One rule of thumb is if a work order has large positive slack, don't nail it. Once nailed, the resources assigned to the work order cannot be reapplied elsewhere, possibly on higher priority work orders. If a work order has a number of positive slack days, it's best to let it be rescheduled along with new work orders added to the scheduling queue. For more information on refining schedules and turning late tasks into on-time tasks, check out Chapter 13 in the Scheduler User's Guide.